So we'll have a wee look at some of that, song structure and how all that's put together. And there's a couple of different types of mixing. Well, there's two that we're going to look at today, two of the main ones based on what users doing and what I've kind of heard you doing over the last couple of days. That's harmonic mixing versus rhythmic mixing. I would use both of those principles basically when I'm putting a mix together or when I'm trying to mix two tracks together. I would say most of you are used to rhythmic mixing, so you're kind of aligning the two tracks together based on beats or percussion or something rhythmical, you know? That's a rhythm. If you have a rhythm there and another rhythm over there, you can work out which is faster or which is slower, and you're trying to align those rhythms together to have them going in sync and on time, right? Is that normally how you mix tracks together? What about, so I've mentioned harmonic mixing. All that is referencing is, think of a piece of music as two different things. It's more than that, but just generally speaking, you've got pitch, which is another word for harmony or harmonic, as I have up here on screen, and then you have rhythm, which would be drums and percussion. So we've looked at the kind of drums percussion element, you know, the rhythm of it, but then also now look at the key of a track. Every piece of music is in a particular key. Some are not in key, but we'll park that for a wee second. But fundamentally, every track is in some particular key, right? Some keys work well with one another, some don't, right? Has anyone ever just went up, even if you don't play an instrument, but you've seen a piano and you just had to do something, and you went up and just played something, or you had a load of keys and it sounded terrible or it sounded good, right? There's a reason why it sounds terrible and there's a reason why it sounds good. Some keys work together, some keys don't. So if you take this keyboard, for example, there's certain keys on this that will work together, there's certain keys on this that won't. And that's basically the same with two tracks, right? Because what are tracks? They are a load of this and a load of rhythm put together in some type of order. And that's what you're trying to mix together. So it makes sense that you would think about the rhythm of it, and you would also think about the key of it, right? The key is the harmonic side of it, the melody and so on. Does that make a bit of sense, at least on a top level? Aye? Are we all right with that? Any questions? I know it can be a bit of a head rake initially, I find, but it's absolutely worth just thinking about that for a second, and we'll look at that later on. So we'll look at mixing and key and some of the tools that you can use to do that. Sometimes, like if you've ever done a mix, right, and you've matched it up, you've matched the BPMs, everything looks okay, and when you bring it on, it's like, what's going on? That's not right. That doesn't sound right to me. Have you ever experienced that? Yeah. So if you've matched up your rhythm, your beats, your percussion, and all of those elements, the only other thing realistically is left is, you know, the harmonic element of it, which is all, you know, the keys and everything else, right? So the likelihood is maybe the keys are clashing, and if they are, it'll sound weird, it'll sound off. Even though you have the BPM right and you brought it on at the right time and everything else is in sync, and it still seems weird, right? So there is other things that it can be. It could be phrasing, for example. Phrasing would be a term used to kind of look at a whole piece of music, right? So from the start to the end, and all the elements that kind of make it up. A lot of music is kind of designed in blocks, right? So after so much time, there's a variation, something comes in or something goes out. Have you heard of phrasing before? Is that something, yeah? Do you understand it? Yeah. Aye, you're okay with that? So if I asked after how many beats or bars, depending on what your preference is, does a track normally change? Do you have any idea what I mean by that? It's the same kind of question, right? But I'm using a different language. So it's good. I'm asking because I want to make sure. How's it going, man? You well? Good. I want to make sure that we understand this side of it as well. This is phrasing. So mind I talked about blocks of variation and change within a piece of music. Basically, every so many bars or every so many beats, there's a variation on a piece of music. I can literally go to any single track that I have in that pen or any of your pens, and we can listen to a piece of music and you'll hear these wee variations and changes, and they happen in patterns. So if you understand those patterns, that's super important as well. So usually every piece of music changes every 8 bars or 32 beats. Have you heard of that before? Some people count like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then have play on the next track to bring it in. Well, normally that's bar 29, 30, 31, 32, and then you go back and count to 1. So if you keep doing that in cycles, that's 32 beats, or 8 bars. There's 4 beats in a bar normally as well, right? So it's just different ways of talking about the same thing. It's different languages, but it all means the same thing, right? So you use whatever words make sense in your head. Doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Use whatever makes sense in your head, would be my advice initially. So we'll look at all of that anyway. We'll look at Rekordbox briefly. Did you look at Rekordbox yesterday? Or I know you've done a bit of that anyway, right? You are all using Rekordbox to analyze your music and stuff. Okay, cool. Do you know where the key settings are in Rekordbox? So you can select that. So when you export music to your pen, it will have the key in there as well. Yeah. Aye, these are all comfortable with that. Have you found where the key is on the CDJs? These ones? It's a bit harder to find on them ones. The 3000s is much easier. All right, but if you can master them, you can master the 3000s. Okay, so then we'll just kind of look at when and where to mix, where to find space in a mix. That changes track by track, but there is a general consensus that when people are making music, there's usually a bit of an intro and a bit of an outro, and normally stuff kind of builds up or breaks down at those two sides. So there's more space there to mix tracks. If you're trying to mix two pieces of music together in a place where both tracks have a lot going on, the likelihood is there's not a massive amount of space for those two pieces of music to exist together. So that's something to be aware of as well. It differs from track to track, so it really depends on what it is. But we can maybe have a look at that and do a wee bit of practicing and stuff as well. Does that sound all right? We all still awake? Yeah, it's the hard part done. Right, happy days, good stuff. Right, so I want you to listen to this. This is a weird one, right? So it's going to go through, this is MP3s, right? So this is a compressed file format. And what I mean by that is there's quite a lot of information missing from MP3s in general, right? And the reason behind that is a lot of the time you don't hear it with a higher bit rate. So this kbps stands for kilobytes per second, right? And it's just how much information per second is being processed, and that dictates the quality of an MP3, right? So it starts off at 8 kilobytes, and then it goes up to 320. 320 is the highest MP3 that you can get, all right? So normally you can right-click in your files and go to properties, and it'll tell you what that is. As you mentioned earlier on too, the file size is usually a dead giveaway. You know, if it's like 1 meg for a 7-track, just avoid it. That's the quality of it's terrible, right? For DJing, I wouldn't go below 320 if I can. Just so you're aware, but that's me. So like, if I'm pushed, I'll go down to 256, right? Usually the main ones are like 128, 192, 256, 320. That's the ones that you see quite often. If you see any weird ones in between that, I would be dubious as to what the crack is with those. Sometimes you get VBR. Have you heard of that? Just to make it more confusing, variable bit rate. The bit rate changes constantly. So that's a bit of a head wreck as well. But let's play this a wee second anyway, right? I want you just to hear this because it's super interesting. Right, so this is actually a piece of music at 8 kilobytes a second. It sounds like people playing flutes underwater or something. It's fucking weird, right? It really is. But what I'm trying to do is just illustrate the importance of knowing this, right? Because if you're going out and you're playing on a big sound system, it's even more important. Bigger the sound system, the more you're going to hear weird artifacts, and it's really harsh in your ears as well. $32 kilobytes, so it's going up. That's 10% of 320. It's not dance music or nothing, so no one I could find that could illustrate it quite well. That's a huge jump. Do you think that sounds okay? There's a lot of missing information on that. I would not play that out. It gets harder to hear the higher you go. I can hear a massive difference here in clarity. I can hear more lows, I can hear more highs, the mids are more, they're just clearer, essentially. Like if you were stuck and you couldn't find another version and you really wanted to play it, 192, you'll get away with it. But I would always try and go there or above. I'd always try and go for a 320, or just ignore MP3s altogether and go for like WAV, or there's a few others that we'll look at, AFF, FLAC, and so on. But you can hear and see the difference there, right? Let's go back. That's unreal, right? Now that's an extreme, of course, but it's good just to hammer home the importance of quality, right? So if you're going out and buying yourself a lovely set of CDJ 3000s and the new V10 mixer and you're $8,000 deep and you still don't have a set of headphones or speakers, and then you go and rip a load of stuff from YouTube or something like that, it's not the best use of doing what you're doing. It genuinely isn't. So I would avoid that if you can anyway and get the best quality that you possibly can. And we'll have a wee look at that later on. Does that make sense? Any questions? Are we all right with that? Happy days. So if I was to check the quality of something, maybe it'd be a good idea to show you that. Like if you look on Rekordbox, I think most of these are using Rekordbox, right? So if you have a look on Rekordbox, you can add and subtract different titles here in the column. So you can go up onto the column itself, right click, and then you can add whatever you want. So I've got the key listed there. I've got the bit rate as well. Now look, me slagging 192, and there's one there at the top of the list. But it's just something to be aware of. Just have a look at some of these. So you've got mainly 320s, you've got some 256s there, and then you've got like 2116. So that's not an MP3, that's a WAV file. So it's just the extension that you see at the end of stuff, you know, like .mp3 or .wav or whatever, right? That's telling you what file format that it is and how it's been put together, essentially. All right. All good there so far. Happy days. Right. So again, super important, worth mentioning. So these are the main file types that you're going to come across: MP3, WAV, AFF, and FLAC. All right. Just in standard competition, you've got Windows that have their version of this stuff, and then you get Mac that has their version of this stuff, and they both have pros and cons. Anyway, so uncompressed formats, they are an exact bit-for-bit representation of the original audio. They offer the highest possible quality, but it results in larger file sizes, right? So this is what you were chatting about earlier on as well, isn't it? All right, super important. So WAV is a standard for Windows operating systems, but it can work on any computer, right? But this Windows design, essentially. It's good for DJing, high bit rate, and it usually starts at anything above that or double that sometimes as well, as you've seen earlier on. It's not very good at metadata support, and that allows for like album information and artist information and just the tags that you'd normally see when you download a WAV. It's usually on one big long name, and then when you bring out the Rekordbox, you have to sit and tidy it yourself. Have you experienced that? It's a pain in the ass, but that's why. It's the file format. AFF is Apple's version of that, and same kind of vibe, Apple's version, and the tagging and that's better. I started off with WAV and I just don't want to move, so I'm just awkward and I go in and rename everything in a Rekordbox. Your call, what you want to do, but that's the uncompressed formats, and what I mean by that is it is the original audio quality. Everything is there. In an MP3, what they normally do is they shave off some of the top and bottom and give you a smaller file. But when you're getting a smaller file, it is reducing the quality. I wouldn't worry too much about it if you're using 320 MP3s, but there will be a slight difference, but it can be quite hard to hear, you know, and it depends on the system and stuff that you're on as well. Lossless formats, so that would be FLAC and ALAC. Any use those? Sometimes you'll see some on SoulSeek sometimes as well, you know, for FLAC files. So they're a lossless format, so they shrink the file size without sacrificing apparently a single drop of audio quality, but I'm a wee bit dubious about it, I'm not sure. But again, I have no evidence on that. So it's just something to be aware of. So this is this is kind of a middle ground, I guess, between MP3 and WAVs, right? It's just something to be aware of. And then the lossy compressed formats means that they permanently remove inaudible or less noticeable audio frequencies from the actual piece of music just to make the file smaller. So sometimes if you're like, like the music producers, at least anyway, you'll know this, where like when you're rendering a track out, there's a crossover with a lot of things, right? You try and keep that to a minimum, but there's a lot of frequencies that do crossover. So what an MP3 tries to do is analyze that and just get rid of the stuff that you don't need, you know? But I don't know, I'm just a wee bit weird about that, but honestly, I've been playing MP3s for years and it seems fine. But that's kind of that's the logic. It tries to get rid of stuff that it thinks that you'll not notice. And for the best part, I think it is fair enough. I think it is okay. But it's just something to be aware of, at least anyway. So that's the three main types: MP3, AAC, and OGG. Yeah, so there you go. There's more information on that. I'll not go through all of it, but that's just to give you a general idea. Right, so that would be my advice to what you should go for. An MP3 at 320 kilobytes, or a WAV, or AFF. Any of those three will be grand, you know. Again, it just goes back. You're spending a couple of weeks here, right, trying to hone your skills. And the last thing you want to do is sacrifice that with just low quality files. You will hear it. You don't hear it as much on here on these speakers. But like if you're on a big sound system, you know, you can hear it. There's a harshness to it. And especially if you're mixing two tracks together, it can be quite harsh. But anyway, any questions? Are we all right with that so far? Yeah, sweet. We will actually mix some tunes as well. It's not all chatting. I'll give you a few examples of some of this later on. Right, okay. So understanding song structure. This is an important one. And this goes back to chatting about phrasing and stuff as well. When I mentioned that 32 beats, 8 bars thing, I think some of you don't fully understand that, so maybe it's worth checking that. We'll pop on a piece of music now and give it a go and see the crack, right? So I'll randomly pick a piece of music, doesn't really matter. That one. There we go. Right, so let's have a listen to this. So we're counting from there, right? So basically every 32 beats, there'll be a variation on this piece of music, right? That's my logic. I'm hoping that I haven't picked the one track that doesn't follow this. Let's find out. All right, that's literally random. If somebody else wants to go and pick one, that's fine as well, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and change. 2, 3, 4. That's phrasing. Just groups of 32 beats. There's 4 beats in a bar. So if you do the math, that's 8 bars, right? The next change is coming up now. You can feel it, right? It's getting you ready for it. 2, 3, and, or 29, 30, 31, 32, right? Same thing. Right, so on those changes, when you have your other track over here, and you have your BPMs aligned, what I normally do is I'm bringing on the other track on that change. Go. Now both tracks are going together, and they should both change every 32 beats. When I'm bringing a track in then, so I'm just still listening on the headphones here with this new track coming in, I'm trying to nudge that in on those changes, because we're designed and built to hear those changes, so we expect them. So that's a good way to bring stuff in or to take stuff out, right? Or if I'm dropping out some low end or just adding EQ or messing around there or adding effects, I would do it a lot of the time on those variations or changes, or a division of those. So 32, half, gives you 16, and so on and so forth. 8, 4, you get the idea, right? Does that make sense? Right, stick your hand up when the next change is coming. Right? Guess what's going to happen in another 32 beats, right? Simple enough. Now there was a variation there as well, right? So there's exceptions to those rules, but generally speaking, that's a good way to kind of gauge things, right? Why else is that good, do you think? Just keeps you right. If you're constantly timing and you know where home is, I think that's super, super important, whether that's producing music or whether it's DJing. It's good to kind of know that there is some type of structure there. And once you understand those rules and once you understand the structure, you can absolutely fucking break those rules as well, right? But it's good to understand them at least and see where that is. Does that make sense? Aye? Right, okay. So again, any other track, it'll be the exact same, right? Let's go for a different style of music maybe. It'll be the same, doesn't really matter, right? Is it too early for jungle? No, we'll whack on some techno, right? And feel free, anybody can come up here and do this as well, right? Let's see what this is doing. Right, okay, so what are we at? We're at 125 BPM here, right? Now, that's going to be harder to work out. It's already harder to work. It's already throwing me, right? That's a weird one, right? Just going to go to a slightly handier one, right? It's better in the morning for that. But you get the idea, right? You want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Did you hear anything? I didn't either, right? But I'm still counting in the back of my head, right? And the next change, or the next block, the next phrase, there might be a change, right? There. Do you hear it? Right? So, it doesn't necessarily have to, especially at the start of a track or at the end of a track, it doesn't always happen, right? But it's still applying that same rule, right? Right? Didn't hear much there, but it's gradual as well. It's quite slow, right? So maybe that's going in 64 beat phrases or whatever, right? But it's still divisions or multiples of those ideas, right? I don't know, didn't hear much, right? But that's kind of the idea and the principle. Some music is different from others, like more kind of pop EDM stuff, you hear it a mile away, right? This type of stuff, it's more kind of minimal and it's harder to hear sometimes, right? Okay, so it might be an idea to kind of mix a couple of tracks together just to practice that. You all right with that? Yeah? Do you want the lights on or off?
Off. Looks cool.
Just keep them off. Yeah, okay. Cool. Happy days, no bother. Right. Right, okay. So if you just want to come up here and have a wee look, I'm going to have to get rid of this projector a wee second though. So I'll pop this over here. Size of the projector. It's like a Coke can or something. Right, okay. That'll do. Right, okay. So track on here at 126.3. I'm just going to go into that same folder. So playlists, techno. So again, I can arrange these by key. If you go in the menu, sort, you can go BPM, key, whatever, right? I'm going to go BPM for now, right? So I'm not going to worry too much about the key, but up here, you can see the, if you have a wee look around here, do you see the ones that are lit up green? They're in a complementary key to what's over here. So this is in D minor, right?
Sorry, where are they lit up?
See the ones that are lit up green? That's just, so it's looking at the key of this and going, these are ones that are harmonically cool with that. Doesn't mean they're going to work. Sounds like if it has potential of working, right? Okay, so when I'm trying to mix two tracks together, there's a load of stuff that I'm kind of thinking about. Let's check our levels here. I'm thinking about the style of the music, the vibe and energy on this track that's currently playing, and the vibe and the energy and the key and the rhythm and the groove and all the elements that make up every single piece of music. And I'm just trying to work out in my head, do these make sense together? And what direction do I want to go? Where am I going next? Sometimes you don't know. You know, you can overanalyze things as well, but you know, it's good just to basically make sure that they have a business being together, because not every piece of music works. It's like, as I mentioned before, if you're on a piano and you just play a load of random keys and they're not working together, there's a reason behind that, because they've no business being together. Your brains are calculators, right? They understand, like, you don't need to know anything about music theory. They understand that someone's had a weird note or a bum note or whatever you want to call it, right? You just hear it. Your brains are designed to hear it. It's weird, like it's a bit scary, but it totally is a thing. So, right, if I play this, let's see here. Right, okay. So, I'm aware that this is going to change every 32 beats or thereabouts, right? So, I'm going to the start of this track, doing the BPMs first of all. Take the level down. I use a crossfader. Some people do, some people don't. Depends on the style of music and how quick I want to mix, but for now I'll put it on. So I'm finding that first beat. There's headphones if anybody wants to listen as well. I'm sure you know the side of it already. So I'm kind of keeping in mind that that's going to change every 32 beats, right? So this is in G minor and this is in D minor. So like major versus minor. Major would be more kind of happier sounding elements were minor, was usually more darker, so a lot of dance music is in a minor key for that reason, because it's more kind of darker stuff, all right? Now that's a really basic kind of way of explaining that. There's more to it than that, but that's okay. Now I've been talking that much, I've no idea where I am on this track. But that's all right, I'll find my way again, right? And that will happen. You'll kind of drift in and out of phase or phrase, right? So you hear that coming in now, that kind of weird lead sound, right? So I'm going to use that as a grounding and a marker. So I'm going to come on now. 2, 3, and... I don't know if that's exactly it, but we'll work it out in a wee second. Now, you see this up here? The red rectangle? That's trying to count those beats and bars as well, right? Every one of those is a beat, and every section is supposed to be a bar, right? Does that make sense? There's 4 beats in a bar, so eventually that makes up your 32 beats, right? I'm not going to use it though, but it's there if you want to use it, right? That's what that's for. It's a lot clearer on a set of 3000s, right? There was a change, right? So what I can do is if I hit play, I can line these up, right? And technically that should be in sync and on time, right? Okay. Now I'm just going to bring this in, and I want you to tell me if it sounds okay. Now there's a breakdown on this, but listen to don't worry too much about the rhythm of it, but does the keys sound okay? Sounds okay. Kind of hard to hear the low end on them speakers. Okay. I actually want to just take out the low end a second. Yeah, that sounds okay to me. I'm going to flip over and have a listen to this side. And I'm constantly trying to bring this out and to emphasize this more. And I'll do it on the change as well, right? Every time I think there's going to be a change in a track, I'll use that to mask bringing something in or taking something out, right? Okay. Taking it out a wee bit, moving it over a bit. And I'll always do the fixing in the one I'm bringing out, if I can, because it's harder to hear. Okay, so that sounded okay to me, right? That's not bad. And again, using 2 things there, but mainly what I wanted to focus on there was just understanding the kind of phrasing and the blocks of what makes up these tracks, but also the 2 keys and how they work well together. That sounded okay. Any questions on that? Did it sound okay out there? Was it all right? Doable? Will I get away with it? All right. It's kind of hard to hear the low end in these speakers and probably the room as well. It's a bit lively, but it's fine. All right. So it's just kind of understanding that every single piece of music will be the same. I'll go through a different style of music maybe, and if you want to have a wee practice of this before we move on, that's fine. So if I go to like, let's see here, let's go to some breakbeats, right? So the same thing applies, right? So if let's try this one. I'm just going to try one that starts off with some beats at the beginning. What's this one? Yeah, it's a bit slow. Let's try this one. Yeah, that'll work. Right, so just want you to stick your hand up when there's a change on it, right? When you think that change is going to happen, right? Right, doesn't matter what style of music it is, right? It's all the fucking same, right? That they all follow that pattern. And it's, if you understand that, that's amazing. So what I would do is, once that change happens, I'm trying to bring this in at the exact same time. So both of those are constantly evolving and changing together. And then when I'm mixing, I'm trying to use that same principle. When I'm trying to bring something in or take something out, I'm using those places where people expect those changes to happen. You know, it kind of can help for a smoother mix. Do you want to have a wee mess around and practice that with some of your own stuff? Or do you want to whack on your own USB pen? We'll have a wee look at that before we move on. Are you happy enough? Aye, is that all okay? Cool, happy days, good stuff. Right, so song structure, definitely it's a good thing to keep your mind on when you're doing this, right? Maybe what we'll do is we'll bring a track into Ableton as well and just see how that is. Just so you can kind of see the fundamental building blocks. Or what I could do is maybe pull a track up on Ableton and we can have a look at that as the way it is. Because someone, like, fundamentally, where's these pieces of music coming from, right? Someone's making them, someone's sitting down on Ableton or FL or whatever it is, and they're making the music, right? So they're using that same principle. They're making the music in 8-bar sections or phrases or whatever it is you want to call it, right? Well, here, we've got some producers on here. Like, what way do you do it? How would you structure your stuff? Are you having that in mind when you're making music, or?
100%.
Aye.
Especially, like, that concept of, like, making sure there's space to mix in and out, like.
Aye, so your intros and your outros, like, yeah. Aye.
And, like, especially with, like, say, garage, just, like, a kind of big moment.
Yeah.
After that, I'll sometimes just kind of have a bit of minimal, because I know some people like to mix, which I also do, but
absolutely.
Like to mix after the.
Yeah.
Some people are like literally one moment and then they're like, which I don't really love, but.
Aye. Oh, do you know, it's kind of weird. Like,
mind,
you're right. You're absolutely right. And there's different styles of music that will dictate what way mixing happens. So, like, when I'm mixing jungle or drum and bass, I like chopping around quite a lot, and it's a faster way of mixing stuff, I find. But if I'm doing that kind of techno stuff, I could be mixing for 4 minutes because there's enough space there. Do you know what I mean? There's space in there for that to happen, and it allows you to have maybe 2 or 3 tracks going at once, or you might have 2 CDJs playing full tracks, and you might have, you know, another CDJ or 2 just having weird loops and random things that you want to throw on there as well for the crack. It's entirely down to yourself, like, you know. But yeah, so if that kind of makes sense, like, do you want me to go through this on Ableton, or do you think you're comfortable enough with that? Or I can if you want, like, it's entirely up to yourselves. It's just to look at the song structure, but if you're, you know, confident enough that you understand when stuff changes, that's fine. We don't necessarily need to do that. He's happy enough with the structure and stuff, is that okay? Happy days. You just want to play with the CDJ, so I shut up. I understand. I have a template here. It would be good to kind of work out the key of stuff, actually. Maybe we'll do that. Right, do me a favor. Can someone else pop in one of their pens if they have it, and we'll just pick a random track, right? You get yours with you?
It's in the bag somewhere.
Right. If you get yours with you?
I feel like I've lost mine on the stairs on the way up here.
Shit. Well, look, I can potentially leave a pen as well. Aye, yeah, go for it. Aye. Is it analysed on record box and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, 100%. And I'm going to set up Ableton here. If you want to grab a seat, you just don't have to keep standing as well. Sorry, do whatever you like, folks. It's all good, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Ableton. I'll make these templates available for you as well. But basically, you're all getting Ableton licenses too, right? That's amazing. Like, I think Ableton cost me over 500 quid when I bought it.
Yeah.
That's unreal. That is unreal.
I have it on. I've analysed, but I have all my keys and like numbers. Is that sorry?
What's that?
Like in the number key. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. We're going to look at that.
Yeah.
We're going to look at that later on.
I just did it. I just have it simple when you're in.
Yeah. Aye. So yes. Yeah. We're actually looking at that and where it comes from.
Okay.
The Camelot wheel. He's aware of that. Aye, okay. Well, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about mixing and key. It is. It is.
Back to back, so.
I'm going to warp your heads though with a circle of fifths. that's where that comes from. Camelot wheel, circle of fifths kind of thing. So.
I was like, mine's is in the mag one. You know, it was like A minor or whatever. And I was like, just because it was no light enough grade, that's how I knew it was.
Yes. But see, the fact that there's lots of different languages about all this stuff too, it can be confusing, and it depends on where you come from. So I come from DJing. So I would understand the mix and key thing before I understood where that actually comes from. And that's a bit of music theory, but you don't need to go as far down the rabbit hole if it's DJing, and if you're making music, you do have to go a wee bit further down. Well, there's plenty of people that make music that don't understand music theory as well, but basically that Camelot wheel comes from a thing called a circle of fifths. And I'll show you what it means here now on the keyboard in a second. Have you got a track there ready to rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Right, go ahead. You're in channel 3 there. Hit play whenever you're ready. Nice stanky electro vibes. Who is it?
Paranoid London. They do like.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Yeah, they have like people on the mic like screaming.
One of the main guys at Paranoid London. He's hilarious. He'll be doing some studio stuff and he's just sitting smoking a fag and he's over just messing around. He's all, it's fucking easy. Anybody can do this. And he just starts doing something and you're like, no, I don't think everybody can do that, mate. But it's just easy for him.
A girl, Emmy, she's a unreal DJ. She was in my sock, but she's actually like she opened. She's very like respected like the techno scene.
Oh, okay.
She's actually opening for Dave Angel soon.
Wow.
He played this track.
I have not heard Dave Angel in a very long time.
So, like she played this, and I was like, "Oh my god, send me this right now."
Please.
I had to.
Okay. Great. Okay, right, so levels, let's check where we are. Right, so tell me when I hit the right key, right? Non-music theory people, right? The music theory heads, these are barred from this, right? Because you get it straight away. That's it, right, so, Jesus, hold on. Get a bit carried away there. Right, okay. Is that right? Are we getting closer? Right, so let's go on to the next key. Yes or no? Further away? Back. So like what I'm doing is I'm just going up and down the keyboard and trying to get close. Once I get close, I then go forward one or back one to see if it sounds better or worse. And if it go both ways and it sounds worse, it is that key. So you want to come over and see this if it's something you haven't done before, right? So basically, right, just to be really basic about this, right? This is C, right? C, D, E, F, G, right? Then you have the black keys. So if you go this way, that's C sharp. If you go this way, that's D, and that's D flat. So black notes, or notes can have more than one name, right? You don't even need to worry about that. Can you see the pattern here on the keyboard, right? You've got like 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, right? All you need to remember is that pattern. And if you remember that the two black keys that are grouped together, the white key to the left of the left black key, which is this one here, is C, right? So that's C, that's C, that's C, right? So go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C again, right? And then you have these notes here, which are between here and here, right? So that's C, that's D, that's C sharp. You're sharpening the sound, you're brightening the sound a wee bit. But if you're in D, you can potentially call that D flat as well, right? You're flattening the sound, it's getting duller, right? So sharp, flat, it's literally describing what's happening to the sound. Does that make sense? Right, okay. So hit play there again, the CDJ, and all we're doing is this. Right, actually, no point in me doing it. You want to try it? Just hit a key, right? You'll know when you get close. Right, keep going. Keep going. Aye. Right, so that one, right? So you're thinking there, right? I would agree, right? That's the same note, but an octave lower, right? So it just repeats over and over again. Cycles, right? Everything in music cycles. That's the same note up there. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll bounce between those same notes just at lower, higher frequencies, or another word for that's registers, right? But aye. So we come to here, right? Which is G. And what I would do is I would go to the immediate note to the left and right. You're looking for home. That feels like home to me, right? Does that sound better or worse? It does, doesn't it? So back in G, I go back one. Somewhere there. I would say it's there, right? Would anybody else say it's not there, out of curiosity? You think it's F sharp? That feels more natural to me. But you play instruments, right? Yeah. So I would take your word for that more than mine. But you get the idea. So it's good kind of just working with that and seeing where you are. And here on this as well, we'll tell you. So G, F sharp, right? The likelihood is if it's a minor key as well, it could well be that, right? But that's just to give you an idea of what we're talking about when we're talking about trying to find a key of something, right? Does that make sense? I'm using, go and hit stop every second again. I'm using a piano here as well. I could use a synth because Ableton has thousands of synths, but I'm using a piano because it's much, much easier to hear when you're getting close to what that sound is on a piano than it is on some weird sound design synth, right? You all have Ableton. I'll send you this template, and all it is, if you hit any key here, it's telling you what it is here, right? If you play a chord, it'll tell you what that is as well, right? So it's handy to have this. It's just it's called a MIDI monitor, and it's just telling you what notes that you're playing, or if it's a chord, it'll tell you what the chord is. So most basic chord ever, C major, C minor, and like you can hear the difference in energy, right? That's slightly happier. Something's about to happen here, right? It creates a different emotion, doesn't it? Every piece of music that you're playing is either one or the other of those things, really, right? I'm generalizing here quite a lot, but you get the idea and the concept, right? So it's just good to even understand that on a basic level. It'll help with that side of stuff as well. Any questions? Do you want to try another track? Do you want to load up one more and we'll try one more? Anything at all, even just go to next or something, it doesn't have to be. And if the rest of you want to try, you can do as well. Right, I'm going to get off the hot seat here. Who wants to try this next?
I'll give it a back.
Yes, good man. Do no harm.
Would it be okay if I went out to go and look for my USB?
Aye, of course, yeah, definitely. Good luck. It's probably the first place that you look for it. It is. So, have a listen to the elements that are on this track. The only thing really that's melodic on there is the bass line at the moment, all right? So it might take a wee second to realise what that is. And we didn't even look at the key of the other track up here as well. It'll tell us what it is. So like if I go up here and say menu, sort by key, it's still doing that thing, right? Okay, so we'll have a look at what that is later on, right? Keep going.
Like maybe one of those.
Here, hold on. Try it now. Okay, right, so you're going with this one? Yeah. Is that the one you went for? Was it this one? Or that one you went for? This here? I would say this is A, right? Okay, so let's put that on the practice, right? So it's saying here it's 11B, right?
Right.
So I want to show you another thing here, and this is important.
And see 11B, like
Yeah,
this is 11B isn't a key on this.
this is where I'm going to
Right.
bridge that gap now, right? So we'll come back to this. I think you know this anyway. Right, okay. So that's the thing that you can do in record box. Okay, are you used to seeing this?
Yeah.
Right, so 11B is up here.
Okay.
So you might be aware of this already, right? So you've got, we'll come back to this. Right, okay, so you've got major and minor circles in here, right? And 11B is up here, right? Let's see where that is, right? So the outer ring is majors and the inner ring is minors, right? So if it's in the outer, it's saying it's a major, right? So 11B, we still don't know what key that is, right? But if you go on to the next slide here, I have this one too.
Okay.
All right? So that's giving you the name of both of these things. It's telling you what some of you might be used to with these numbers, but it's also, this one also has the key, right? So we worked out, and you worked out, sorry, stealing your thunder. You worked out that that was A, so the key that you pressed was A, right? And it's telling you there that that's A major.
You're saying it's the one down here. I was the one up here. So
That's same key. So like basically it goes like this, right? So C, D, E, F, G, A, right? B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. It just keeps going. So it just goes in blocks. Do you know what I mean? So you've literally 7 white keys there, and then these black keys are variations of those as well. Do you know what I mean? Does that kind of make sense? So like you had, was it this one here? This one here? Or no, it was this one here, wasn't it? Yeah. Aye, so if it's that one, you can try it again if you want, but that is the same as that, is the same as that. But they're an octave apart from one another, right? But it's the same key, it's just higher up or higher down the register. So these aren't all different keys, it's just the same things repeating over and over again.
The only difference there is the octaves you're saying?
Yeah. So the octave is it's just like, I'm not going to do that in pitch because I can't fucking sing, right? It doesn't matter, but you get the idea. It's just that. So you can hit the same key on those registers if you can sing. And it's just the same as that. And it's good to hammer that idea home. And if you can work that out and just understand it on a top level, that's really going to help your mixing, and understand how to get out of an area where you're going, right, I know my BPMs are right, my phrasing's right, but there's still something that isn't right. That's not
so
the key.
if that was, you're saying, was it A major, and then
Yeah.
this one was, the A up here would have been
Yeah, that's still A as well.
A major?
Yeah.
Right.
Aye.
Okay.
Well, it's like, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, right? But we'll just focus on the keys, right?
You see there, like, A is A minor.
Yeah.
It's still, like, that could still be...
Which one are you looking at here?
There's
Yeah. So we were talking that this is more of like the key of something, right? And I don't want to go too far. It's more, we're talking then about chords, right? So I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole just yet, right? I think that's beyond the scope of what we need to chat about today, but I'm sure people already have kind of sore heads at this stage. So, but that might seem a wee bit confusing, but it's not as bad as you think, right? So, like, for example, if I was to go on the Ableton, right, and let you hear the difference between those, right? And this is good, actually. So if I go on, I'm just going to hide this a wee second. So if I go on the Ableton, just under the grand piano, right? And what I'm going to do up here, do you see here? This is a scale aware function. Mm-hmm. And I can go on here and pick a key, right? So I can go to A and go to A major, right? Mm-hmm. You can go major, minor. There's loads of different modes that you can use, right? Or scales. A scale is a collection of notes that works together, all right? So if I now go on here to this is called a clip slot, and if I double click that, what it's actually doing now is it's highlighting every note within the A major scale, right? So you have, you see here, if I just turn on drum mode, you turn on the headphones so we can hear this. We have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, and then we go back to A, right? It nearly doesn't feel finished until you hit that last note, and then it feels like a cycle, and it does, right? So if I was to keep going above or below that, I'm just repeating the same notes, an octave higher or an octave lower, but it's the exact same notes. Does that make sense? Right, okay. So now, sorry, that's a horrible sound, right? The good thing that I have on here is this MIDI monitor, right? When I play a note, it's telling us what it is, right? So if I do this, it's telling you that that's A minor, right? That's the chord of A minor, right? Now, I'm not a player, but if I wanted, say, for example, A major, right? I could go on to this MIDI monitor and just look at what the notes are for A major. It's A, right? So we go back to A, and it's B and C sharp. So it's this. That sounds weird, right? So that's the difference between those two notes. It's one key, or no, it's two actually. Let's see. Right, that's minor, and then it's saying that's major. That sounds weird to me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Doesn't it?
That's A minor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So why is it? Am I in the wrong scale? Doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the idea. There's a difference in them, right? I'm used to putting a lot of this in via MIDI for that exact reason, because I'm not a player. But does that make sense? Yeah. So they're chords, right? Anyway, so back to this. This will definitely help you kind of bridge the gap between what you've done and what the other one is. You can do either one. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, it's entirely fine. You don't have to use one or the other. Just use whatever is more suitable for yourself. Right. Anyway, So this is what it's based on. Your Camelot wheel is based on the circles of fifths. So, like, my understanding of what a fifth is it's basically the fifth, what's known as like a fifth harmonic in the scale of notes that you're using. Are we straight on that? Nearly. It's weird doing this back and front, I'll go around this way and do it. So, on this one, the same kind of thing, right? I'm going to jump back and forth between this a wee second. So, if you look at C there, right? So, we know now where C is. We've used that before, right? So, C is here. So, if I go up a fifth, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's G. Look up there, circle of fifths. If I go from C to G, that's where the name comes from, right? So if I go to G, if I go up 5 from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm in D. Does that make sense? That's literally what it's doing. So what it's showing you there is all the relative keys that are similar together. And if you're looking at this one, or you're looking at this one, what you're trying to do is you're trying to find, say, like, no joy, no? I can leave a USB in here if you want. You can mess around with some of that stuff. You know, no bother. So what you're trying to do is, say your track is in 12B. You're trying to find something as close to that as you possibly can to be mixing harmonically, right? There's exceptions to those rules as well, though. You know, I wouldn't take it as an absolute. If it sounds okay to you, try it and see, okay? But the theory behind it is, the closer you are to one of the numbers, so say your first track is 12B, you want to be 12B, 12A, 1B, 1A. The further away you go from that, the less related they are harmonically to one another, right? So there's less notes, there's less keys that are basically related to the one that you're playing. And if you go too far, so like I would never put a 12B and a 6B, they are the polar opposites of one another essentially, right? So they're less related. They're the least related possible. Does that make sense? Yeah. And it's the exact same if you were to look at this as well. It's a very, very similar thing, but what they've done is they've taken the notes kind of out of the equation, just to make it slightly handier. Because if you're DJing, you don't necessarily need to go that far down the rabbit hole. But these are all the same kind of thing. They really are. Like, there's not a massive amount of difference. But this is good just to kind of work out where you are. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with it, but does that kind of make sense? Are we all right with that? So that will help for the harmonic side of things. Right. And again, there you go. That's what I'm chatting about, what I just done there on the keyboard as well. So it's on there. You can have a wee mess around with that. So you can see where C is there and you can see where G is there. And if you count both of those notes, there's 5 steps. So it's the 5th harmonic. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
This might be kind of stupid. Like, you
No.
know the Camelot wheel?
Yeah.
How come, so C on the circle of fifths, how come like C is at the very top and A and like the A minor is underneath it, but how come on the Camelot wheel C and A minor are, yeah, they're on the left hand side, like A and A B?
No idea. I genuinely don't know. It's a good question. I genuinely am not sure. I'm sure there's logic there somewhere. Yeah. That's your homework for tomorrow. You work it out. But no, I'll check it. I'll check it and see. I'm genuinely not too sure. There's probably logic there some way. There has to be. There's a reason there somewhere, but I'm not sure. So hopefully that's a wee bit easier. So again, I want to finish off with this. I don't even know what time we're on, to be honest. How's energy levels? Are we all okay? Aye. So curating a mix. Like, this is different for everybody, I find, and it's just, I'd like to open this up and get everybody's opinion on this. Like, I've been DJing for a while, about 25 years. I started off collecting records. That's actually my records in the background. Just took a wee photograph of it yesterday. And yeah, curating a mix depends on where you are on your journey, what style of stuff that you're into, if you're into one style or you're into multiple styles. But normally if I'm putting a mix together, I kind of look at where the gig is, what time the gig is at, and then reverse engineer it from there. But that does differ sometimes as well. For example, if you're going and playing at a festival versus playing at a club night, or you're warming up for somebody, or you're finishing the night, or you're somewhere in the middle, that dictates a lot of what you'll do and how you do it, I guess. But sometimes you'll have an idea of how you think it might go, and then you land there and the place is already going bananas, and you're like, there's no point in doing much of a warm up here. It's already kicking off. Like, you know, so you kind of have to react to those environments as well. Has anyone ever had that experience where, like, you know, you kind of rock up to a gig thinking it's one thing and it's something completely different?
Yeah, sometimes if I'm doing like a warm-up set, depending on the night, I'll bring like 2 different
Aye.
vibes, like of playlists
Mhm.
to like bounce off.
Aye.
Especially with like the harder techno stuff.
Aye.
'Cause
Aye.
You could be going in and someone's leaving you off at like 150 BPM.
That's sound.
And you're like the second set.
Aye.
And then you're initially thinking, right, maybe about 145 or whatever, but you can't prepare
Yeah.
what they're leaving you off on.
That's quite interesting. Aye, and that does happen a lot, and it depends on like the maturity of the gigs sometimes as well, and who else is playing at it. Like a way to do that, I actually had that experience recently where I was playing at a festival in Derry, and the guy was on before me was playing live. So his set was set. You know, he couldn't really jump around that much. Have any of you heard Carton? Do you know Carton? Yeah. So he was playing live, and I should have realised he finished off playing drum and bass, like, and he was on second, and then I was on after him. And I do play drum and bass as well, but I didn't want to play drum and bass that night, so I had other plans. So I was like, right, how do I come around from this? And he had the room absolutely bouncing. So it was like, do I just continue off from there, or do I just give it a second and try and work out a different path? So I just didn't start for 10 minutes after he finished. Let the room calm down a wee bit, and then I started at my pace. Now, you can't do that everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes a good way to do that is just to play something that's non-rhythmical. Do you know what I mean? So it's just weird, warpy, strange sounds, and that's sometimes a way to get from a higher tempo to kind of bring it down a wee bit. But as soon as you bring rhythm into that, patterns, you just know that, you know, you're kind of going from one to the other. You can mess around with, like, at a breakdown, you can start taking your tempo down a wee bit as well to kind of do that, or do it gradually over time or something like that with a couple of tracks. But it's a bit scary, isn't it?
It is, yeah. My friend Rory would like suggesting like spinning it out, like the way sound gimmick, where you
Yeah.
can spin the deck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of try and base it off what the last person left. If you're warming up anyway, like if you're on the first couple of sets.
Aye. Would you do the same at a festival?
You don't want to like. You want to stick to what you're doing yourself.
Aye.
You want to change it.
You want to be you.
Right vibe, you know.
Yes.
But within reason, like you try and kind of match it up even from the first track to the second, and then
Aye.
you can, like you said, you kind of start firing your own stuff in after that.
No, it is important for sure. So you were asking?
Yeah, I have a question, and it kind of for everybody, because it's something that I think is really interesting. For you first, like, do you plan out your mix?
I used to plan out a mix religiously when it was vinyl.
Yeah.
Because it's vinyl, right? So you can go a couple of different ways, and you try and do a bit of prepping and making sure that you have everything you need. But what I find with that process is you can totally overplan something, and you take the goodness out of it.
Yeah.
For you,
I
is
done
it?
that once, and it was like, it was open for like an artist that I loved for years, and I had planned every song out.
Aye,
Loved every song, but when I was playing it, I was like, I know what I'm doing here. I'm not like
Aye.
enjoying it.
aye.
Because like a robot, you know what you're doing next.
So I think everybody approaches that differently, and everybody gets a different feeling out of that. So I do plan ahead, but the way I plan would be, when I'm DJing, I'm using vinyl and digital. So I'll either use a set of CDJs or tractor with a controller and then a set of turntables. I've been collecting records for 25 years and have so many. That's how I love playing a lot of the time. So I always want to bring that. So I'll have an idea. I'll go through the stuff that I think might work, and I'll bring 2 or 3 crates of records if it's somewhere local, and then a pile of digital stuff. And I'll go through it maybe for a couple of hours and just have a general idea of what I might do. You know, normally when I'm playing all night. So I'll be starting off the night and finishing the night, and I love that. See, going on for half an hour or 40 minutes or an hour, it's harder, I think, to kind of do something with that. I don't really like doing back-to-back stuff a lot of the time. I'd rather just kind of go in and do my own thing. Just like hogging the decks, really, you know. But does that kind of answer your question a wee bit? There's a bit of planning, but I think you can over-plan as well, right and easy. What about yourself? What?
Well, like, I used to be very planned out because I just get really like in my own head, you know what I mean? Like, wanting to make sure, especially
Yes.
like certain
Yes.
places I'm playing. And the last time And I just was like, okay, I have to change my approach. I was playing in Tengu, which is like a very well respected club. And,
What's it called?
Yamamori Tengu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was like big, I think it was a big deal, you know. And that's it. I had planned to bits. Like I knew every single.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem was like I was like stressing because it was like I need to make sure that every. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did that take stress out of it for you in the end up?
Not kind of, but what happened was like I spent say the week leading up to it just constantly thinking about what I'm gonna do, like constantly. It was like in my head. I was like, all right, this has to change. So then I literally next set I played. I forced myself. I just obviously had to play it. So I just forced myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't plan anything. Just base it off. Literally, do not plan any song. Like first track, you don't even know.
Yeah.
But like, and I was like, okay, this is doable.
Right.
It was like that fear of like.
Yeah. But that's a good way to get over that fear as well, right? Is to really challenge yourself and go, I'm not going to do anything at all. But then if you've done both of those things, right, you can gauge it based on what works for you.
Yeah. So I kind of do a mixture of it now. You know?
Yeah.
Like now it's like but even like back to backs, I just try and force myself because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like I was like taking the fun out of it.
Yeah.
I was like stressing and making it like this big.
Yeah. And if you're not enjoying yourself,
Yeah.
that probably translates to the crowd as well. You know, if you're sitting there like rigid and you're panicking, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes if I'm playing a set, might be a wee bit stressed out as well. Maybe I get to the venue and nothing set up or something. I have to work stuff out, get everything going the way I want it to go, and then I'm stressed before I start. You know, after 5 or 10 minutes, that usually just disintegrates, and you realize why you're there. You know, you're there for music, and you're there to kind of share that music with other like-minded people as well, right?
I feel like,
Good question.
You know, you can't extend on that like set away. You sort of learn more from your own.
Aye.
Set, like because you're reading the room and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Even just giving yourself like a bit of a plan at the beginning, even just to kind of address a wee bit of that fear, and then just leave it a wee bit wide open so you can go in a couple of different directions. I think that works for people too.
I kind of look at like what tracks work with each other because one thing I like to do is like playing two at once and sometimes going in and out if it really works together.
Aye.
So like if I have a few of those, then I'm like, right, I'm going to use those, but I don't know what order I was going to kind of read through.
Aye. I get.
But like knowing your tracks just basically
Super important.
Yeah.
So do you know what though? There's definitely times, and it depends on how much music you have too. But sometimes I'll go out with a silly amount of music, and that leads on to another question as well. Is like how much music is too much, or sometimes you can have too little. You know, and it's finding that happy medium. But yeah, there's times where I'll go out and I'll play something and I haven't heard it. I can't even remember downloading it, but it's like, I think that'll work with that. And then you're hearing it again for the first time. So if you know your music inside out and back to front, it has positive aspects to it, but I think it can have negative aspects to it a wee bit too. Maybe negative is the wrong word, but it's just not maybe as exciting as it was the first time you heard it. But I think everybody experiences that a wee bit differently as well. But yeah, you know yourself, the first time you heard a piece of music and you're like, what the fuck is that? You know, if you have that every time, it's amazing. And I think that translates to your mix and the vibe that you're kind of creating in a room as well, you know, they can feel that stuff.
I think, even though you said, that's like, I don't know if I agree with that, but sometimes there's like tracks that you know inside out, you just know it's going to go, like that song, like when that bass comes in, every time I've seen...
you're waiting for it, like...
when the bass like just comes, like that rumbling, it's just like, and everyone reacts like, well, what is that? You know what I mean? It's just like,
you can see it, you can feel it, And that's the thing about energy as well. It's cyclic, right? You know, you're buzzing off them, they're buzzing off you, and then if you keep that going, there's a massive amount of energy there that can be generated in the space. It's kind of why a lot of us do it as well, right? You know, it's hard to beat that energy. So yeah, like we were talking about just curating the mix and the key points behind that. And again, the mix has changed depending on who they're for. Why does a mix even come about, right? I just want to kind of, because I know you just have to put a wee mix together here. Usually comes about if you want to share new music or happen off at a gig or you want to do a bit of self promo. That's usually the main, reasons behind a mix. Can we think of any others?
Just like touch on that, like why, but like our mix on Monday, and you're saying there, like if it's like a big mix on, like not gonna lie, I'm shitting myself, like.
Good.
But
that doesn't mean that that's
like,
negative. That
and all of us doing it is probably one of the biggest opportunities we get. So like I'm in two minds then. How do I go about that? Like, do I go about it and like, because obviously the vibe of like wing it on a Monday, it's going to be a lot different to the vibe when people are probably like just like after pre's, you know what I mean, first set of AVA.
Yeah.
So it's like in two minds of like, should I set it out in the way that like I want it, or you're saying like read the room then for like, you know what I mean? It's like a weird one. Like obviously, I don't think like reading the room as such. Like, well, like my thinking behind it would be like not reading the room for like winging, because it's not going to be the same buzz at all as such. But
it probably won't be. No. Like I'm not sure about Monday in the sense that is it open for everyone?
I don't think so.
Right.
They done one a few weeks ago. It was like an invite sort of, mostly people that were playing at the event and like.
Aye. Aye, okay, so that's going to be a different energy, right? So as regards to reading the room in that context, I don't know if I would, right? Because it's a different setting, it's a different energy. It's not your standard kind of space that you would be playing in.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't necessarily have to affect what you would play.
Yeah. Because I was in here.
But no, you're grand. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, you were go ahead.
I was in here yesterday, and sort of like, as you're saying, like trying like put stuff together, like and then I got like a sort of like mix. I was like, thought it was alright, but then I listened to the back and it's like, fuck, like is that even good? Like, you know when you listen to the back more and more, and then you're like, literally like, and then even like the first day we were in here, I played like no one else was in here, and I played like 3 hours by myself. Like obviously didn't plan like anything. It's just like it went really well, and like I was buzzing about it.
There's your answer.
You know what I mean? And then,
you've answered it yourself, really.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Then it was sort of like.
Because we were chatting about this on Monday as well, right?
Like it went like at this class, like it was lovely. You know, if I got downloaded a lot of new music, and you're saying like I didn't know them all, entirety, like you download them, and then you're like, you also know, like I didn't remember exactly, and then like a vocal comes in, like that's me.
Aye.
But then like at the same time, it's like the more in like the way of the mix on Monday, I wanted to like just flow perfectly. Do you know what I mean? Like into like the ending or like while like I think.
Well, what do you think the key things that they're going to be listening for are?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right, let's throw it out to the room, right?
Like, see for Monday you're saying you obviously play hard house.
Yeah.
It's obviously wing it, and then it's not going to be the set club, but there could be people that could be open to that, and you get introduced them to like sort of your style. Yeah. And they can take that away from it.
Just like on the hard house sort of like I'd be like more on like the like harder sort of side, like hard house, like I was don't know, like in the way of like obviously it's going to be a festival set, but then like you just come out like going for it, like or
well like, here's the thing, right? What I would do personally if I was going for something like that, I would definitely want to have my voice in that mix and in that set, because fundamentally I think you should be doing this for yourself first and foremost. That said, if it was me, I'd be looking at the festival, I'd be looking at the lineup, I'd be looking at the overall vibe and aesthetic and music curation, or I can't say that word for some reason, curation in the actual lineup itself. And I would take that into consideration. Do you know what I mean? I would, because if you're playing on that festival lineup, the way that I would program a festival lineup would be, I want to create and curate that whole day so it has some type of trajectory, So I might have the start of the day one vibe, in the middle of the day a different vibe, and the end of the night a different vibe, And it's there's always some type of programming and thought planned into that. So do you take into consideration that it might be a warm-up set? But then we go back to that same conversation that we had earlier on. Is there such a thing as a warm-up set for a festival? It changes with absolutely every festival that I've ever been at. So I think it's a bit of a 50-50 thing as far as I would be concerned. But I think even all of that aside, just to try and resolve this in some capacity, be yourself, have fun, and hopefully that'll come across. I don't think you should change what you do specifically. But I would take into consideration what the festival is about and what their ethos is, because that will dictate, I would imagine. Now, I can't speak for them. I don't think I'm doing any of the judging. But yeah, I would take it into some, I would take some consideration into that as well,
Because I like the hard house sound as such is like definitely got like a lot bigger in the past couple months, and I don't think like at AVA there's an awful lot of like actual full-on hard house, like, so it's in the way of like hard house is a quite wide spectrum of like how hard or like
I know
so like it's I don't know, like obviously I can't play like on the more like calmer side of like hard house, but like true to me you'd be like a bit quicker, so then like I think that is
I'm doing the exact same thing, like, because I'm hard dance, like I'm doing a lot of like techno and
Here's the thing: you're sitting in this room for a reason, though, as well, right? That's the like if we flip this around a wee bit, you are all here because you've been chose to be here. So, don't take that lightly. That's amazing, right? I don't know how many people applied for this, but I'm assuming there was quite a few. And you were selected based on what you submitted. So did you put a mix together? Is that what you've done?
The sort of sound that I'm worried about playing. So,
but you're here, right? So that has to speak to that part of things as well, and hopefully that gives you a wee bit of reassurance. But see, having nerves, I think that's a really, really good thing. If you're just landing in there thinking you know everything and you're going to nail this, maybe you're not trying hard enough. So don't be afraid to have those nerves, but use them as a positive and a driving force to put you forward. Be yourself, honestly. And even if you think that style of music isn't something that's at the festival, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's not something that they might consider as well. And especially if you've put that forward in your submission for this, it's clearly worked for you already, and it's all part of that same umbrella. So yeah, I know I haven't really answered your question, but there's do you know what I mean? It's there's no definitive answer to that. You know what I mean? You're on your journey, and you have to have your journey as well. That's super. Why do you do it otherwise? If you're going to stand up there and play music that you don't want to play, what's the point? Yeah. You're not going to enjoy that as much. So I think you have to enjoy it first of all, and then hopefully everything else will fall into place. But it's mainly the track selection, is it, that you're slightly concerned about? It's not, the skill or anything like that, or the setup. I think we're going to be using these as well for that event. So if you're practicing on them, that'll be nice. It'll take a wee bit of that stress out of it, because you've been in here messing around with them too. So that all okay? Yeah. Happy enough? Any other questions on that? It's a totally valid question for sure, Aye, but here, look, see, anything like that, pull any one of us aside and just have that chat, and you can be guaranteed, see if you're thinking about it, there's at least 2 or 3 other people thinking about it as well. So it's great that you brought it up, so good on you. So I guess hang on, there was a few other points. Did I delete those? Probably did, I've done this late. Okay, so tips, make your mixes unique. And for you first. That's exactly, you know what I mean? It's here we go. Thanks, that's a nice segue, good man. But just include interest in music that hasn't been overplayed. I can't emphasize that enough as well. I know there is certain bangers that's going to work and everything else, but I don't know. I love bringing new music to people that haven't heard it before. I think there's something amazing about that, and it just makes it, for me at least, a wee bit more interesting. If I go out tonight and hear everything that I've already heard, it doesn't do it as much for me. Now, I'm not saying that you can't play a load of stuff that is known or whatever, but it's good just to keep that in mind. That's what I try and do. I try and play music that's slightly under the radar, that I enjoy. Just mixes in general as well. Just throwing this out to everybody, how many mixes would you put out, say, in, I don't know, a year? Is it once a year? Is it once a week? Is it once a month? Is it 3 times a week?
I would make a few a week, but I wouldn't upload for the album. I would just send them in this maybe.
Aye. Okay, cool.
Like almost SoundCloud, there's 3 or 4.
Right.
I've had it 3 years.
That's another question as well. What platforms are you normally using as a SoundCloud?
Would be SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, okay. Many mixes would you normally put up?
I make a good few, I wouldn't put up any bigger, it's too hard.
Aye, okay. It's important to think about that too, because you can totally overdo it and you can underdo it. So it's finding the kind of right time to do it helps. Again, you can totally overthink all of these things, but I find that if you see festival season coming up, just a wee bit before that could be good. Or if you know when there's applications going out, just a wee bit before that, allow the mix to get a wee bit of traction and then send it on to people. That can kind of help as well. SoundCloud is a good a spot as any, I think, to upload your stuff. I know Mixcloud's another one too, but I find that a lot of younger people would use SoundCloud. I think it's easier to use and more accessible and stuff. But so again, just be aware of maybe uploading too many mixes and not uploading enough. It's just finding that balance. And what does that balance look like? It just depends on where you are and how many gigs and stuff that you want. If I was to do 4 a year, I'd be happy with that, to be honest. But that's me, I'm on a slightly different journey maybe from the rest of you, where you're at in your journey. But so here's another thing about a mix as well, and I think it's good to look at this. When you're recording your mixes, how do you record them?
I have a standalone, so there's just a record button on it that saves to your USB.
Right, okay. Do you ever have any issues with levels at the end? Or no? That's just something to be really, really aware of as well. If you exporting a mix and the level's low and someone's trying to hear it and feel it and they can't get the level, you know. So if you have an all-in-one system, it might normalize that level at the end, so it brings it up, I'm not sure. But it's something to be aware of, especially if people are using headphones. So you can kind of normalize stuff in Ableton. So I can take an output from that mixer, pop it into Ableton, and then record the audio, and at the end of it, I'll give myself a bit of headroom, so I'm making sure that it's not clipping in here or distorting, just like you would in your levels on the mixer. And then at the end, as I say, I'll give myself a bit of headroom, and that allows for certain peaks to come through, and it's not going to clip or anything. And then I'll bring all that up at the end. It can be called normalization. I might even add a wee bit of compression or limiting. What that does is it catches peaks and it gives you more room to take the whole level up. So it's just worth mentioning stuff like that as well. What are the rest of you using for recording mixes?
DGM record.
Okay.
Plug it into, I'm not sure if that one has it, just the USB port in there.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a app on your phone. And
right.
Just go straight to your phone now.
Right, okay. I haven't used it. Must look at it.
You can change the levels on the app too, like after you record it. But it's like,
does it give you the level that it's? I do, because like I'd be interested to see that, because it's good to understand like the input level just to make sure you're not in the red. So if you record that low, if you give yourself normally, like I would even give yourself like 12 dB of headroom.
Yeah, it gives you the remeasures and stuff.
Does it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So I would sit around 12, as long as it allows you then to make that up.
But there's a thing
on the output.
You can like change the level before you can start recording, and then you can change it again after. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that there's a thing called gain staging. Are you aware of what that is? So like every single point on that mixer where you can turn up or down the level, that's a gain stage. Gain is level, increase or decrease. So even if you want to have a wee look at this, because it ties into what you're doing, can you get that app out? We'll have a wee look at this as well.
Yeah, I'll plug it in there, but it's dead handy, the app. Plug it in.
Right, okay.
There's a new app I've seen that's like I've seen it on TikTok actually, trying to do like videos and stuff.
Yeah.
You can link it into the DGM record, and while you click record on like the video,
yeah,
it simultaneously records the audio of your mixer at the same time. So you don't have to match it up after.
Beautiful. That's a good shout. So gain staging, it's very, very simple, right? So the audio is coming out of this cable here, and I get into one of the channels. Same on the other side. This is channel 2, this is channel 3. So I'm just going to load a track here a second. Got that quick enough, didn't I? Right, okay. So like if I have the level of that channel right down, I'm still seeing level coming through here, right? And you're using your trim to take that down or up. That's gain staging. So that's the first point of the level coming into the mixer. So that's your input level, and every channel has one. Doesn't matter where this is. That's just what you're sending out to the next stage, which is your output. All right, so if I start bringing that up, that's your output level there as well. All right, so that's 2 stages of gain. On these monitors, they're powered. So literally there's 2 XLR cables coming out of the back of this, and then it's going into the back of the speakers. And they also have a level there as well. So that's your 3rd gain stage. So you want to make sure that everything at each one of those stages is sitting nicely. And then when you're recording into the app that you're talking about, the output that I would use, depending on what it is, if I was recording a mix out of here and into the likes of Ableton or something, there's an output here on the back that says record out. And if I use that, and if I turn up and down this level, it doesn't affect the level of the recording. It's separate from that. So it's just whatever you're set at here. So no matter what you do here, or no matter what you do on your booth monitor, which would be normally the speakers that are right beside you, you know that. So that just means you get a smoother mix as well, and you don't have to do much correction then afterwards.
You see in this mixer?
Yeah.
I have this here on mine too, but no idea what it's for.
It's grounding. It's for turntables. So out of the back of your turntables, you'll have 2 cables that look exactly like this, but they go into the phono inputs. But then also there's a ground, and the ground is to stop any weird electrical feedback sounds you hear. It's like a hum, that kind of weird sound. That's what it's for. So what you do is you get a weird cable that comes out of the back, and it has a wee prong, and you just do that, whack it in there, tighten it, and then that grounds the earth for all of these 3 things. So it's just to stop weird. we've got some guitarist in the room. It's that, you know the crack, right? It's the hum from your pickup, so you'd use a DI to try and get rid of it or something. It's that same idea. So it's just to get a smoother, cleaner sound. What I do is I rewire turntables so you don't need that stupid cable, and then the ground happens here in this in the shield. So like, I don't know if you know what way these cables work, but that's like your left and right side. It's like a set of headphones, so you just stick those on, right? Don't stick these into your ears, but you get the idea. So that is your left and that's your right, or vice versa, and then this is your ground here. So that stops any weird sounds from ground hum or weird electrical kind of signals that shouldn't be in the audio signal, but that's what it's for. Does that answer your question?
I was just wondering.
Do you know what? I was actually going to bring in turntables today as well, but I didn't. Maybe I should have done, but maybe we'll look at that another time. Mixing vinyl's good crack, but it's annoying at the start because you've nothing to go off. You just have your ears. It's like, is this working? How much do you slow it down by? How much do you speed it up by? And then you're kind of working off the response of these. Like I've noticed that some people put these right back, the actual brakes on these right back to here. So this spins around more. I like it right there because that's more like vinyl, but everybody has their own way of working, right? But that's what this is all, like these are all based on turntables, right? Everything that you see here is kind of what's on a turntable to some extent, or they're based on that at least anyway. But yeah, so look, I think that's pretty much everything. I'll put this up on that wee group as well, if you want, just so you have it. I'll do a PDF of it here and fire it up there. But otherwise, I think I've talked enough. I need a wee break now, just a wee rest for a half hour or so. No worries. Hopefully that was beneficial. I know a lot of it was talking and not a lot of it was mixing, but you can do that yourselves in your own time anyway, right? Is there anything while I'm in here now for the next 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes or so, is there anything else that you just want to ask about on these decks that you're not sure about that would help just get rid of some fear, nerves? He's comfortable enough with them, like?
Yeah, well, I'm used to using an RX3, like.
Right.
I started really using CDJs, like in different gigs, like bigger venues.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to practice, like.
Just practice. But you've got, exactly, but like, you know, there's a lot of similarities. It's just knowing where those elements are on this.
Yeah, it was what you were saying when I first like started doing CDJs. I do it by ear, but it does help having it in front of you sometimes. Just to like reassure you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whoa, where's like the grid?
Yeah.
That one throws me off a lot because it's jumping.
It does, yeah.
What is it, sorry?
I feel the same with the way on a 3000 would have the grid where it's like
it's much clearer.
Like, throws me off.
It's much clearer. I don't use it. I don't use it. It's not always right. A lot of the time it isn't right, so I just ignore it altogether. And I think so as well. It's just get that phrasing in your head, you know, just kind of listen. And even before you mix, just listen to a couple of tracks and practice where those changes happen. Like, honestly, nearly every piece of dance music kind of follows those patterns, you know, or it's a division of those patterns or a multiplication of them, you know. It depends on the style of music as well. What type of stuff are you into?
Mostly house music.
House music? Well, they follow that pattern pretty religiously, like, you know. But it's just practice. It's practice more than anything, and then definitely just getting used to the mixer and the CDJs. I would do that before your practice, you know. Maybe Lockie's in here for a load of hours, just bag of cans. Don't know if we get away with that. Cut that bit out.